Guys, what's going on? It's your boy for CancerMoonsTarot coming at you guys with a quick video today. So I was just jotting down some notes. This is kind of like a free-based video. I'm not really 100% prepared for what I need to say, but I felt like I needed to make a video for a lot of people that are recently subscribing to my channel. I've run this channel for 2 years. My 2-year anniversary was actually on March 25th, which was really awesome. It's been awesome to be here for the past 2 years with the amount of growth that I've had. So I do want to let you guys know how grateful I am for everybody who's subscribed and everybody who's watching. But I did feel the need to make this video. This is kind of like a tarot FAQ. I don't know how I'm going to title this video just yet. And I also do know that Water Baby Tarot made a video on this quite a while ago. I think it was almost about a year ago or so. I felt the need to make one on my channel so that I could tell you guys how my readings work, because I feel like every reader, they have their own style, they do things differently, but the way that I perceive how tarot readings should be perceived is a little bit different, or maybe it's the same, who knows. This is just what I felt that I needed to say. So we're going to go over a couple key things in this video. In regards to my notes, one of the first things is that messages may resonate, but not all the time. Okay, so we want to talk about that real quick as one of our starter key points. Messages, and I always say this in the intro, by the way, if you guys watch in the beginning of the video, messages may resonate backwards or vice versa, so take them how they resonate if they apply to your particular situation. I also note that if the message doesn't resonate, you can feel free to check out any other tarot reader on this platform, as there's various other readers who may resonate with you. So it is actually impossible for every single message to resonate with every particular zodiac sign. So for example, if I'm reading for Cancerian, it can't resonate with all the cancers in the world. There's just too many cancers in the world, going through so many different things. It cannot apply to every cancer out there. But what it can do is it can apply to a specific group of cancers. So that's why there will be people that the reading resonates with, and that's why there will be people that the reading doesn't resonate with. So basically, I cannot necessarily tap into whatever group I want to. It's kind of just what my guides want me to read on. So when I do a tarot reading, guys, I don't think of which specific group to tap into. I just read for Cancer, and whatever group of cancers desperately need a message in order to move forward in their life, that is the message that's going to come through for me. So that's why most of the time, readings are rather accurate, messages do resonate, but if they don't resonate for you, just don't consider yourself a part of that group I'm reading for. And also keep in mind that the messages that come through from me, I have no control over what messages do come through. I allow Spirit to work with me, or my guides to work with me, and I produce the message that comes. So if it resonates, awesome, and if it doesn't, don't let something apply if it doesn't resonate in your life, okay? Or as Lulu will say, if it don't apply, let it fly. I think that's very important, okay? Another thing I wanted to touch bases on as well is take tarot readings with a grain of salt. You have free will. Now, a lot of people... There's not a lot of people, I guess. There is a few people, though, that I've come across every now and then on my channel that do take tarot readings very serious, almost to the point where you take everything that is said in the reading and you let that completely govern your life. We have to remember that we have free will. So when we're watching these tarot readings, it's always important to take it with a grain of salt. And the reason why I say that's important is because you don't want to allow somebody else to tell you how you have to live your life. If something resonates with you and works for you, you can take that advice. But if there's advice in my reading that doesn't make sense to you or that doesn't fit in your life, you don't have to take that as well. Remember that you have free will. Now also, based on the tarot reading that I'm providing, I am reading based on a certain path that you and the person you're dealing with is on. Now, free will can always get in the way of what I read for. So for example, going back to, let's say we're doing a Cancer reading, and let's say you are a Cancer, the person you're dealing with, let's say they're a Pisces. Let's say the Pisces you're dealing with wants to reconcile with you. And out of nowhere, during the mid-month, the Pisces is like, you know what? I don't want to get back with Cancer anymore. I just feel that I should move on. That was their free will choice. Therefore, the outcome of the reading will change. So we always have to remember that people's free will can interfere with outcomes changing, and it could interfere with the way that the reading was meant to go, because everybody has free will and everybody has their own path. So I wanted to touch basis on that as well. Outcomes will not always resonate. Usually they will change, because either you change something or the person you're dealing with changes something. What I think is most beneficial about tarot readings is not necessarily where the prediction is or what the prediction is. I don't like to read tarot necessarily for predictions. There will be predictions that are incorporated in my videos, but most importantly, I think it's about the guidance that you're getting out of it. Most of the time, and this brings me to another point, We need negative readings and we need positive readings, because what happens is that, let's say I'm reading a tarot or doing a tarot reading and there's a negative situation going on in your life. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at that negative situation, be very honest with you about it, but tell you how to get yourself out of it and invite in more positive energy for you to move forward to a positive path. So what I think is important is that while watching and observing tarot readings, even though people have free will and even though there are predictions in them, the most important thing is that you take the guidance that resonates, that helps you better your life. I know that that's kind of what I like to apply in my readings. Not only am I going to apply spirituality, but I like to apply psychology to help people move forward with a more positive manner and to invite in happiness into their lives. So I like to do that with my readings. I kind of focus more on the guidance, way more than I focus on the actual outcome or prediction of whatever is happening within the reading, okay? It's not to say predictions don't come true, they absolutely do, but I think the guidance is more beneficial, than the actual prediction, okay? So I wanted to touch basis on that. Now, there are other things to talk about as well. I do have a couple more notes here. Other signs are applicable. So if your sun sign is not resonating for you, your moon sign, your rising sign, your Venus sign, your Mercury, any sign within your chart can be applicable to you. So you can resonate with other signs within your own birth chart. Thank you, is the word I'm looking for. So you can resonate with any of those as well. Let's say if your sun sign is not resonating, try out your moon sign. If your moon sign is not resonating, try out your Venus. You never know. There may be one of your signs that ends up resonating way more than just your plain old sun sign, okay? Also, another thing is that if you feel drawn to a reading, feel free to watch that reading. There's a lot of people that actually let those types of readings go on by. For example, let's say you're a Capricorn and you see a Cancer reading, and you feel drawn to it, go ahead and watch it, And also, if you're a Capricorn, your 7th house will be Cancer, because your 7th house is always the opposite of your sun. See how kind of astrology and zodiacs all intertwine into one? So at the end of the day, if you feel drawn to a specific reading and it's not your zodiac sign, watch it anyways, okay? Another thing that is major that I want to touch bases on is please cross-watch at your own risk. Okay, so if I'm reading for Pisces, I'm going to read in Pisces' point of view, and I'm going to read what's going on with Pisces and how they feel and what they're interpreting. So if I'm reading for a specific sign, I am reading for that specific sign. Now, I do say in my beginning of my video, in my introduction, I do say the messages can apply backwards or vice versa. So let's say you're cross-watching, and everything that I'm saying about Pisces is actually you. You can revert the energies, okay? The energies can be interchangeable. But what I will say, though, is be mindful of cross-watching, because cross-watching can be a very, it could be a habit that comes with a lot of negativity. It could cause a lot of negativity because sometimes cross-watchers hear things that they don't want to hear. So be mindful of watching a person you're dealing with's reading when it necessarily isn't your reading, okay? Try to stick to watching your readings. Like I said, if you do feel drawn to one, feel free to watch it. But for cross-watchers, just beware. You're allowed to cross-watch. You can feel free to cross-watch if that's what you're comfortable with. Just note and acknowledge that you may hear things that you don't want to hear. And sometimes you guys can get mad and take it out on the messenger. But you got to remember that you're cross-watching and it has to be at your own risk, okay? I have seen an uptake in cross-watchers. And I have seen people get upset because they're like, well, Aunt, you're reading in this person's favor, and actually I'm the one that's going through this. But you got to remember, I say every single video, if it resonates vice versa, then it still applies. So if everything I'm saying in the video is accurate, but you're the cross-watcher and it applies to you, then the reading resonates. So you have nothing to worry about, okay? So I know a lot of people there have that issue. Just feel free to, cross-watch at your own. What was the word I was using before? Cross-watch at your own expense, I guess. I don't know, okay? I'm not very good with being unprepared for videos, so thank you guys for still bearing with me. Moving forward, we have, if you are triggered, it is for a reason. I do want to talk about that. If something triggers you in a tarot reading, it is definitely for a reason. Now, what we got to keep in mind is that anytime anybody triggers you, that means there's something inside of you that needs to be healed. So if I say something that bothers you, or if I say something that triggers you, try to look within rather than to ultimately project. because I do know that it's very difficult sometimes to look within when the ego is like, I'm pissed, let me fucking project. It can suck, I know. But when you're triggered, do your best to look within. So if I ever say something that makes you feel some type of way, take a look at why it's bothering you and why it's affecting you. And you may actually discover, oh crap, that's something I hadn't noticed. Here's why I'm mad. Here's why this is triggering me. Here's what I gotta do to heal whatever I'm going through, okay? So being triggered is actually a good thing. It's just a reminder that there's something within you that you need to heal, and when you actually bring that into your awareness, it allows you to heal, and you are allowed to move forward, okay? Now, another thing is, if messages stop resonating with you, it is okay. There's a lot of people from the beginning of my channel that were like, yo, you were spot on all the time, but as of lately, the messages haven't resonated. That's okay. You know, I can't always be tapped into specific people every single time. The group's always gonna change. So if I was resonating with you for like 2 months and then this month out of nowhere, like the messages stopped, resonating, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. Sometimes people just have no messages, or at the end of the day, maybe there's somebody else, another sort of reader that's kind of picking up on your storyline that you can feel free to check out as well. This leads me to another thing. I've seen people who have said, no matter where I go, just nobody resonates with me anymore. Well, what I've noticed is that most of the time, the reason why you don't have messages is usually because you're in a space in your life where things are going good and you don't necessarily need any guidance as you're on the right path. The reason why messages usually resonate for others is because they are in need of guidance and they're in need of getting pushed to a positive path that will best benefit their life. In someone else's case, where no readings are resonating at all, you're most likely on the best path that you need to be on. Now, I will say, that doesn't mean if you're on a good path, the message can't resonate. Of course it can. But usually, for those people who feel like nothing's resonating at all, just take a break from tarot. And anytime you feel drawn to a message, as I mentioned previously, feel free to watch that video. Moving forward from this, we do have asking about the new person or the new energy. I get these comments a lot. Aunt, this was last year. I want a new person. I want new energy. So what needs to be understood is that I cannot control the messages that are coming out, as I mentioned previously, and I cannot look into a new person unless I'm seeing a legitimate new person appear. That's like bringing something out of nothing. If I don't see a new person within the tarot reading, then how could I read about something that isn't coming into alignment yet with your specific sign? What we also have to understand too is that, let's say I'm reading for Pisces, and a group of Pisces that I'm tapped into are going through heartbreak currently. And let's say you're a Pisces, but you went through heartbreak a couple months ago, and now you're completely fine. And you comment, "Aunt, I would like to hear about the new person." The thing is that you have healed from your heartbreak. The group of Pisces that I'm still tapped into haven't healed from their heartbreak, and they still need guidance moving forward on how to get out of those painful energies. So you've already ascended from that, meaning that you're on a different timeline. The group that I'm tapped into, they're still on the timeline of heartbreak. So that's why there can be repetitive messages sometimes. That's why there can be the same messages sometimes, because those are groups of people that need to heal and that need to keep, getting the message until they do the work to heal and move forward. So unfortunately, sometimes messages can be rather repetitive, but it's not like it's your fault and it's not like it's mine either. There's just a group of people that are still on the same path that still need the attention from spirit in order to move forward. Moving forward as well, I talked about this earlier, but this was the last thing that I wrote down. We need both negative and positive messages. One thing I've noticed is a lot of people, for some reason, don't like positive messages. I guess positive messages are the black sheep of tarot because they don't always resonate. Like, for example, if it's a reading about new love and you're single and you're like, no one's in my life, it'll resonate to, other people, but it doesn't resonate to you. And then you're like, well, this is shitty. I'd rather have a reading that's accurate. My life's in shambles and I want, this, that, and the third to be read about. So I've noticed that when I put out positive messages, some people actually get more upset than me putting out negative messages. And it's interesting how there's kind of like a reverse effect there. At the end of the day, there are positive messages in tarot and there are negative ones. You're going to get both sides of the readings. Some readings are great. Some readings are pretty damn horrific. But here's the thing. In regards to any reading that I do, I'm always going to back it up with positivity and a way for you to get on a better path to lead you to a better life. I'm always going to do that. Okay? So getting back to what I was saying, if there's a positive reading and it's for your sign and it doesn't resonate, you know, be happy for the others it does resonate to, and just note and acknowledge that it may resonate to you later down the line. Now, in regards to negative messages, I've seen people who have told me, you know, this message is super negative, it's super low vibrational. We have to remember that we are beings of duality. We experience emotions, we experience negativity and positivity. So when there are negative things that are going on in our life, I'm going to read about them. I'm going to be blunt about them. I'm going to explain everything that I can about those messages. But what is most important is to realize that I'm going to back it up with positivity, love, and show you how to get from point A to point B, how to get yourself out of the negative and push yourself to a more positive place, okay? So anytime there's a negative reading, I'm always gonna find a way to uplift you and uplift the energy that you're in so that we can go somewhere better, all right? So I'm sorry, kind of a long video, 1541. Thank you guys though for watching it. I really do appreciate the people that did take the time to watch this. Of course, there may be more things that I have to discuss moving forward, but this was a couple things that I felt needed to be talked about. There was one more thing that I was going to add to what I was saying. I guess I forgot, unfortunately. But nonetheless, though, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And of course, if there's any more questions, please comment down below, and I will feel free to answer them as much as possible. All right? Take care, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Bye. We're back. Sorry, guys. I do have 2 more things to add, so thank you guys for being patient with me. I'm probably going to leave timestamp down below with everything that I have to talk about so that you could see it timestamped in certain sections. So I'm probably going to do that. But there were 2 more messages I wanted to talk about. One of the messages that I need to talk about is tarot readings are timeless, like completely timeless. So even though I'm reading for a certain time frame, like I'm about to start the June reading, so let's just say, you know, I'm reading for you. You're, a Sagittarius. I'm reading Sagittarius for June 2020. That June 2020 reading can resonate in May, April, July of 2021. Tarot messages are very timeless, so they can resonate to you at any time given. So that goes back to before with what I was saying, that if you feel drawn to a reading, just watch it. It doesn't matter if it's not in the time frame you're in. It doesn't matter if it's old. It doesn't matter if it's up ahead. If you just feel drawn to a reading, feel free to watch it. I've had readings that have resonated that were, readings of mine that were done 2 years ago. I remember I was scrolling through my readings one day that I've done, and I took a look at one, and I believe it was from July, and I just took a look at it, and I was like, fuck, that really, there was a part in there that really resonated. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes messages can resonate from long ago, and it doesn't matter about the time frame you're in. Also, let's just say, going back to the example of being a Sagittarius, and I'm reading for June 2020. The message that I read for June 2020 can, out of nowhere, start resonating in your life in August 2020. You see what I'm saying? So if a message doesn't resonate for the month I'm reading for, it can resonate a couple months ahead. Maybe that energy just hasn't came into alignment with you yet. So I did want to talk about how messages can be rather timeless, so be mindful of that. If a message doesn't resonate in the time frame I'm reading for, it could resonate later, okay, at any sort of given date, so just be mindful of that as well. Now also, I do want to talk about something that is important, and I can't believe I missed it in the video, and that is tarot addiction. There are a lot of people who kind of find themselves addicted to watching tarot videos and addicted to kind of consistently knowing the future. That's why I was mentioning earlier that I'm not the biggest person to 100% solely focus on the predictions. It is not about the predictions for me, it is about the guidance. So if you are consistently watching tarot readings and videos, seeing these predictions and, becoming addicted to it and needing it to work out the way that you wanted it to, it can become rather unhealthy for you versus it actually being a healthy and therapeutic tool in the first place. So if you find yourself becoming addicted to tarot readings and always focusing on outcomes and almost wanting things to go your way, and when they're not, it's lowering your vibration and frustrating you, please take a break from tarot. There are people that I've seen become quite addicted. And, if you're here every day on my channel supporting me and you love my energy and you take all these messages with a grain of salt, feel free to watch them every day. But if you're somebody who's finding that you're having an addiction to this and you can't stop without getting your message, that may be unhealthy for you, and you may want to take a step back and have yourself a break, because tarot addiction can be real. There are people who have gotten addicted to readings of mine and who have consistently, said, "Aunt, I need this now, I need this now, I need this now." And you got to remember, guys, tarot is a practice. It can be a rather draining practice. I can't always pump out messages each and every single day. Sometimes it really takes a toll on me. You know, sometimes readings of mine will come late because I have to protect my energy and regain my energy. Other times I need to take a day off when the energy is a little bit too much. You know, tarot reading can be a very draining practice. And considering that I do this for free, I ask for everybody to be patient with me. But I have noticed that the people that do have tarot addictions have been very pushy, you know, to get their next reading and things of that nature. And I ask that if you do have any sort of addiction to tarot and you feel like you can't live without it, take a break from it. I think that would be the best option for you, okay? In regards to my readings, I always try to get them out on time, but it's really all about the energy that I'm sitting in, and it's really all about when the message is meant to be received. Sometimes messages aren't meant to be received even when you want them to be. Sometimes you just gotta be patient and wait, okay? So hopefully I don't miss anything else out. But like I said down below, I will timestamp what I need to timestamp so that you guys can kind of skim through the video rather than sit down and watch a 20-something minute video. And I hope it helps. And if there's any more questions that I have not answered in this video, comment down below and I will feel free to respond to you, okay? Have a lovely and amazing rest of your day, guys, and I will see you all later. Much love, everybody. Peace.